really caused us a few problems, and the US finally got Morgan released, and that was the game plan, to keep Morgan and Wombat quiet. I thought young Buchanan did an unbelievable job at that today, Moscato as well, but we said the US will hurt us in transition. They score on average 3 goals against Canada a game throughout our history, and they did it again today, so I'm really disappointed, to be honest. I can't fault the girls' effort. Same stuff from Canada, time and time again. They'll just keep going, but I think on the surface, I think tactically, we came out with a plan to keep things tight, to make sure that Wombat and Morgan didn't combine to get those opportunities. We got a little bit sloppy as fatigue set in, and as we got sloppy, things opened up. As we started to step on a bit, things opened up, and we got punished, and we got punished exactly how we predicted we would. So we've got a bit of work to do. But 17-year-old kids come out there and did an unbelievable job. I mean, I'm proud of her. She, she's shined the light today. I think for any kid in this country to say, look, no matter what background you're from, you can play in front of 23,000 and play like that. Wow. And that's available to any kid that wants to work and go through the things she's gone through to get there. Well, I think we've seen the power aspect. The key goal was today, when we played against the US, the stats, there's something like 26 crosses, usually 20-odd shots on average a game. And they do that to most teams. So our approach was, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. And we've always played with a back four consistently throughout our history. So we changed things, and for 68 minutes, I thought we were looking okay. The Americans had a couple of corners, but Erin hadn't pulled off a save till that point. She wasn't pulling off world-class saves time and time again. So I think what we always hope for with Canada, the precision side, is that you get Tancredi, Sinclair, Matheson, Schmidt released. Schmidt didn't really feature today. Tancredi, as soon as she ran out of gas, which was about 55 minutes, when you take a player like that off the pitch, the chemistry goes with Sink. And then to bring Rian Wilkinson out, that causes you a few problems. So I think, yeah, you've got some challenges when big players come off the pitch for Canada. We just can't afford to do that. And hopefully, over these next 2 years, I can find some players that, when they do come off, we can replace them. And find the same sort of effect that Sydney Leroux does for USA. You look at it, Leroux get one shot, one opportunity. Tiff Cameron gets one shot, one opportunity. One ends up in the back of the net, the other one ends up in the stand. That's where we're at the minute. But we've got to work with that. We've got to take it forward, and we can't hide from it. So tactically today, I think for 68 minutes, I was pretty happy. We changed to a diamond towards the end. Maybe we could have done that a bit quicker. But yeah, part one of the continual battle against the USA Open to 2015. There should have been about 20 free kicks, shouldn't there? Oh dear, bring back the Norwegian referee. We'd have been in heaven today. Yeah, listen, yeah, great atmosphere. I think, I hope the fans don't go away dismayed. I think they took a lot of heart out of people like Matheson. She just never gives up, and honestly, she's the pride of Canada. Like 5'0", playing against girls twice the size of her, and she just is phenomenal from whistle to whistle. And it's those little things that I hope just keep inspiring the crowd, that people like her, Buchanan, Sinclair, Scott, if they can keep pushing through, and we can keep raising the players up around them, by 2015, I think we're going to be in a good space. But I think what it's done is just lessen the expectations a bit, and I think that's important as well. Let's just get some reality here that winning the World Cup in Canada is going to be one hell of a job. Getting that bronze medal was like catching lightning in a bottle, but we did, and we can do it again. But I think what it might do is just pave a bit of an easier path into the World Cup, to give us a reality that this team has got a lot of work to do. When we brought those players off the bench, you can see the difference between theirs and the American players. Not to say they can't get to that standard, but that's the work we've got to do back home. And I look forward to it. What a challenge. Yes. I didn't notice. I think I was kicking a water bottle at the time. No, honestly, I didn't notice it. I'd like to say, I'd love Sydney to be playing for Canada, wouldn't you? you know. Imagine her playing up front with Sinclair and Tancredi. That would make a big difference, but she's not. So I think we've just got to let it go, eh? Let it go, let her enjoy our time in the US and just respect her as a player. Yeah, but the fans were great with our girls. They never give up on them, did they? We just kept going and they kept going. So, and we didn't give them too much to get excited about, but when you look at the history of this game, we don't often give them much to get excited about. But I think the heart was there, the spirit was there, and that US team didn't break those girls' spirit today, or the fans, and that was great. No, we have to. It's either a curse or the opportunity. So I'm going to get excited about that. The fact that, yeah, the barrel is a bit empty. There is a positive players between 18 and 27, but what am I going to do? I'm going to stop blaming everyone and pointing fingers now. I'm going to do what I can to get every inch and ounce out of those players in these 2-3 years that I've got left. And we'll do our best. Those girls give you the best today. They give you their best. We changed things up tactically. They bought into it. They played it well for periods. And it worked. And it didn't work in some ways. So what else can we do? So I'll look at myself after this and go, well, what am I going to change? What else can we do differently? Because we're still getting the same against the US. But I'll tell you what, it wasn't the same. If you look at the stats, go deep into the stats, it was a different game, completely, compared to London. What people don't realise is we only had 6 odd shots in London, to their 22, to their 26 crosses, to our 8 crosses. So just, there's a reality check. London looked very different, but the spirit was still there, the passion was there. And like I say, we have to nick the goals. When we get a chance, if someone gets through on goal, we have to score. And if Tank and Sinclair are on there, normally they do. So there's something about how we get Sinclair involved more closer to the goal, because that was pretty blatant today, wasn't it? You know, she wasn't in and around the area where she can cause the biggest problem. So we've got to look at that. Another tough one. I think it'll come down to injuries. You know, we've got a few players from the NWSL that have been struggling, really struggling coming into camp. Ryan had a fitness test just before the game, so whether she needs some time out, I'm not sure. But I think we've got to get a balance right of bringing fresh faces in. But to be honest, you know, the fresh faces aren't, there's not like a queue of them where I can go, right, here comes the next round of fresh faces. We did a lot of that at the beginning of the year, and we've got what we've got. And as a coach, the exciting thing is getting the best out of them. And I think you look at that team that failed at the World Cup, I kept that whole squad together. You know, and in January 2012, we got beat 4-0 off America in Vancouver, and everyone had written us off for the Olympics. So don't write us off, we'll be back. We're going to put the work in. There is a gap, but that can be addressed, and I'm sure coming into home territory, the fans will make the biggest difference for us while we're here, if we can cope with that. And it was a big test. Would we cope with them? I think Kadisha Buchanan answered those questions. Yeah.